Welcome back. Now, the medical students of the University of Lagos, UNILAG, recently came out to protest the university's decision to increase the cutoff marks. According to the reports, the year 2 medical students accused the university of jerking up the cutoff from 2.5 GP to 4.0. Also, some of them were unjustly transferred, according to them, into departments like fishery, educational biology, and all sorts. Now, what are your thoughts on this? We heard it's been in the news for a while, and later on we'll have a parent and a student in the studio to tell us, to share their own experience. You can call us on 070-8066-801, or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read your tweets. Now, this happened, first of all, you're in university for year 1. The normal thing for you from year 2 is supposed to now go to a university teaching hospital.
Yes.
But to get there, you need to get a certain GPA. Now, what the GPA they understood was 2.5. Then suddenly they were told, oh, it has to be 4.0. So if you can't make that cutoff mark to enter to go to UCA, Luth. Medilag. Idiarab. Then you have to now go to other departments like fishery and all that. What are your thoughts on that?
Why the students protested, and this happened a few weeks back, was that you can't tell me when I come into the school and you give me a pamphlet, a booklet, and say that all I need to do is to get above 2.5 GPA to go to Medilag, and then I now get 3.9, for instance, and you tell me, I'm sorry, the GPA is now 4.0. UNILAG answered through their PRO and said that the professional bodies for all these medical associations were saying that we now have a quota of how many people that you can admit into each class, because we want to control, how many people. And my question immediately would have been that even if the quota is 100 and they had numbers of how many people they were allowed to admit, and what if all those students had more than 4.0 and there were about 200 of them? Would you still have sent them to fishery or biology education? Now, what I thought UNILAG should have done was to ensure that the new entrants, you tell them now that the new cutoff mark is 4.0. You can't shift a goalpost in the middle of a game. Yeah. That's why there's this protest.
But somebody mentioned a question that couldn't they have at least alerted the parents of the student? I'm sure they would have. There's no way school like that.
But it's already late. We have already done the exams.
We have a parent here who will tell us. Yeah. And I had got a call a few weeks back from this lady who, her son or daughter, I can't remember, who had applied, and then they put her, I think, in botany or fisheries or something, and she was like, why? She went in to study medicine, and you admitted her to study medicine, and then suddenly you are saying...
Now, the system that I know is when you get into school for a certain course, now maybe you don't make, for whatever reason, if it has to change, maybe you don't make the quota. What they do, the guidance counselor invites you over, you have a conversation, okay, this is, you didn't get this mark, so these are the options. What would you like to do? If you don't like any of the options, they can give you a receipt or something. There's a way you do it. I'm surprised that that's not what it entails in
Are you talking about America?
I'm talking about the system I know.
According to these parents that called me, what she said was the school said they didn't have enough space. That is why they are transferring people to botany and fisheries and all those.
So how does the school choose for you?
Can I say something?
Very unnecessary.
When my sister was in 100 level, she made a grade point average of about over 4 point something.
Wow.
Yeah. And then a lot of her friends switched over because it was an automatic admission into the medical department. But she chose to remain in biochemistry because she couldn't deal with the what's it called, the stress of having to stay extra. I think they were going to do it for 6 years or so. So she stayed back. What concerns me in all these things, I don't want to know whether the school communicated, UNILAG communicated the grade point change or not. There are some certain courses that are very, very sensitive. For someone to make a 2.5 GP grade point average, I'm even shocked that UNILAG would allow medical students with 2.5 grade point average to continue. For someone to make a 2.5 grade point average, it tells me that the person is an average student, probably like within the range of a C.
Second class.
So my point is, what exactly should be the, because if you go around the world, the proper grade point average for medical students, what are they benchmarking it on? So for me as a student, I would rather consider ways to boost my credit points. Because if I carry you now to a doctor and the doctor gets a C in your operation, that is death. Because it means that 50% of the operation is not successful.
May I correct?
There are some, let me finish my point.
Yeah.
There are some courses that are very, very sensitive. Medicine is one of them. When you go to study, people that become astronauts, they have zero tolerance. It's 100%. They have zero tolerance for error because of the sensitivity of the course. So I am saying that it's a good thing. It might have been probably a wrong way that the school, are trying to handle it. But you see, even whether the game is still ongoing or not, there has to be a line. Probably let the school give them an option of saying that if this session elapses and you are still within that 2.5 grade point, you will be asked to withdraw to another course.
Okay, let me take this call. Let me take this call
thing.
from Winifred from Navy Camp.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Winifred. How are you?
I'm fine.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to greet. That's why I called.
Oh, hi, Winifred.
Good morning.
Morning.
May I correct your
No,
notion?
no, I just wanted to, Uwa, the cutoff before was 2.5. If they want to change it, they have to wait for those
new
ones.
entrants.
You can't tell me that it's 2.5 and then I work towards that and then I even get 3.9. You tell me because I didn't get 4.0. But that wasn't the deal.
You didn't hear what I said, Waiki.
I know
I
what you
said.
said.
That, listen, because of the sensitivity of
May
that
I correct
course.
that
I
part?
know.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm saying that even the people that are
think you made
within
your
the
point.
system right now, the school can still give them a year to say, by the end of this semester or by the end of this session, if your points have not been upgraded to 4 point something, then you'll be asked to withdraw.
Let me come
because
to you,
medicine,
No,
you
we are
cannot,
not-
you
we are
cannot deal
not-
with medicine with a 2.5.
We are not denying that. We are not denying. What we are saying is, was the way they did it right
Okay.
or wrong?
Let me
May I
get to my
correct
guys. Yes.
that the reason they are even allowed into your year one is in Akoka is because you're doing general courses. You're not doing medically related, except you're doing your physics, your chemistry and biology, but you're doing general knowledge courses, use of English and everything. Those are not what will make you a doctor. They just want you grounded and properly educated. So if you flunk those, it doesn't mean that you'll be a bad medical doctor. So it's when you get to your year two that you start to do the medical, and you must be in Medilag.
Okay, let me take this call.
So 2.5 or 0.5, as far as you meet their
Good morning. Are you there?
cutoff.
Tunde,
My name is Tunde. I'm calling from Abeokuta.
go ahead, please. Thanks for calling.
Yes, I think the large issue on this, I think it's a major problem, and I believe that universities will have a way of handling it because it can lead to serious academic crisis at the University of Lagos. I think what the National University Commission at this point in time should come in and ensure that they have laid down rules and regulations, for admission to some courses in Nigeria. Yet he was saying something about 30 days ago on this issue. That people doctors have.
For us to focus on what is important. We cannot tolerate anything when it comes to this. See, our hospitals there are some things that we are already struggling with. I think I'm taking out the positive in all the drama, that we should focus on excellence and focus on how we can move our medical schools to top grade medical schools that will compete with the world.
We're all in agreement. It's the approach.
Justice Thing says, he's talking about the president.
Let me take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more to it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we have joining us is a Unilag medical student, Dola Oyenuga, and a parent, Mr. Chuks Elue. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You've heard of, you can call us on 070-806-6814. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. And please hashtag Yourview TVC, excuse me. Now, you're a student. You're a medical student, correct?
Yeah.
Now, could you tell us what happened to you? Just give us your story.
Yeah, I'm here representing almost 200 students who have been affected by this issue. And I would like to correct certain notions as regards the cut-off mark and all. We have about 6 departments for the medical students: medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy. They don't use a cumulative grade points average. They use cumulative scores in their biologicals, chemicals, and physicals, in which you must have a balanced score of at least 50 in about 3 to 4 courses in each of those areas. So that has been, in fact, I think the cut-off mark before was about 40, but it has been jacked up to 50. So that has been what has been running for some years. Then for courses such as radiography, pharmacology, and they use the grade points average you mentioned. So what happened actually was that after exams, we had during orientation and all of that, we had a handbook which was issued to us, signed by the Vice Chancellor, the Dean of the faculty and all, that you are meant to meet those criteria for those departments. And we were even told during the day of the orientation that this is just to keep the standard, high and all of that. And after the exams, we started hearing rumors that some of us, regardless of making those marks, were not going to progress to the College of Medicine. And we wondered why, because the excuse the university was giving was the quota. But it should be noted here that, for example, for medicine and surgery, the quota, which is on Medical and Dental Council website, is 150 students. And in our UTME class, year 1, we are 140-something.
Even
so
less
out of
than
the 140-something, we have about 120 that made, the criteria stipulated by the university. So the issue is not their inability to accommodate those students, because there are even still vacancies. The issue is that University of Lagos runs an alternative program, which is called the Foundation Program, which students pay about 500,000. That is probably times 10 of our school fees, and is a source of an internally generated revenue for the school.
That's your perspective.
That's your
perspective.
No, we have diploma students. Out of the 120 that made the cutoff, just about 50-something are in the class right now. So the remaining slots were given to the diploma students. That is not a perspective. It's something that the list was released. And we asked, okay, what happened? Why would you suddenly decide? So the major reason why the criteria was jacked up was to create vacancies for the other students.
The diploma students. For
the diploma student. And simply because previous years, they've been flouting the order of 150. So, but that has not affected the UTME student. But now that they decide to keep up with the 150 quota, they don't want to stop admitting those number of diploma students
who are paying 10 times
my
rates.
school fees.
Interesting. All right, let me come to Mr. Elue. YK had said something earlier that maybe the parents were informed. Were you about the jacking up? Were you formally informed that they've changed the goalposts, as Jumoke said?
No, we were not informed. We got to know about it only in February when the list was released. And it was very saddening for all the parents involved. Some of our children from age 2 have made up their mind to be medical doctors. And maybe 16 years later down the road, after they have done all they needed to do, they were now informed that they should move to Yoruba education, fishery, and the rest of them. It became very difficult. It became difficult for us to bear. That was why we use all means trying to let them know that this cannot work.
Okay. So you took the case to court, actually, and Justice Hassan at the time said that UNILAG should maintain status quo until the substantive judgment, and he adjourned the case till April 1st. What happened April 1st?
No. Because the case is in court, we are not allowed to comment on that angle.
Okay.
Can I talk about these diploma students you mentioned? Is it possible that they have people in that diploma that has been admitted that have a grade point lower than the cutoff?
Do
you have the statistics?
We have no problems with the diploma program.
It's a question.
Okay. the diploma students don't write the same exams as us. They don't have the
But
same
they will
courses
still have a grade point
as
average,
us.
no?
Their grade point average is fixed on, is dependent on the vacancies available in the UTME slot. The way it has been running for years, the diploma complements the UTME. So they check out, okay, we have about 30, 40, then they go to the foundation program. That's what has been running for years. Then they say, okay, we pick about just 40. Then the 40th person becomes the cutoff mark.
Okay, let me take this call from Adedoyin. Adedoyin, are you there?
Their
Yeah.
GPA.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, please go ahead.
Yeah, the young man is straight from the lag. Is actually speaking my mind. The thing is, Unilag, you always try to set this kind of standard that is above every other schools. But for all I care, they are more particular about their diploma than the normal regular student. That is what the guy is agitating for. And that's my position as well. Because I know Unilag very well. You always try to set one inferior standard like that, but they have the ulterior motive behind it. So the guy, he actually knows what he's saying. So
right.
that's my contribution.
Okay. Thank you so much, Adedoyin.
So, what is the
Yes, sir.
reprieve that you're looking for?
Was
Okay,
that
Heta.
Yes, in medicine, we don't have first class, second class, or third class.
I know that.
The normal standard is there are once you must meet certain standard, which is that 50-50-50, we call it.
Balanced.
Yes, it must balance. Even if you score 90 in biologicals and make 49 in physical, they will not be allowed to proceed to the next level. That is the thing about that medicine thing. You can never, at the end of graduation, MBBS, that's all.
Okay.
So what happened is that Unilag, unfortunately, this time, they didn't get it right. Why I say so is that they are the educators who normally tell us parents, don't force your child to study another course, a course they are not wired to study. They don't have natural abilities for, or they have no passion for. That is what they told us. I'm also a product of Unilag, so naturally I would not have liked to come and talk about Unilag the way we did. But because they refused to listen to the voice of reason. And that is why parents now came up and said, we'll back our children. That we know this people have capacity to do this course.
Let me take this call from Femi from Magboro. Are you there, Femi?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes. My name is Femi from Magoro.
Yes.
Actually, the young man actually spoke what is in my mind that he said that to be from Unilag. See, this issue of our Nigerian institution, the way they decide on students, they've changed a lot of great push-ups. Now, you have mistakes. You're giving them your expectation that, okay, if you do not talk with this certain cause, you will not proceed. Now, the students, they try to meet up with that cause. At the end of the day, you are not telling them that, no, they cannot proceed again. Why is it that you didn't have, you not have told them at the initial stage? They will know that they can't meet up with this course. Let me go for biochemistry. Now you now drop them to zoology or fishery. Do you want to compare those courses with biochemistry?
Thank you so much, Femi. Now let me come to you from based on what I had said earlier. Because let's look at the bigger picture. Yes, there's a position that maybe they're doing this intentionally so they can get some students to do diploma course. That's one reasoning. There's another reasoning that is possible that they say, you know what, we want to increase we want to increase the stakes. We want to get the best students. Unilag has a reputation for XYZ. We want to have the best of students in this area of study. Now, could that be a reason, and shouldn't that be a challenge to you as a student? So you know what? That can make me a better doctor, at least maybe acceptable internationally. If you look, why don't you look at it in that perspective?
We have some of us among us that had 4.0. The cutoff mark for medicine was actually 4.1. And we prepared for exams with the mindset of not having CGPA. Someone could have a 90-something in biologicals and have a 40-something in chemicals and still have a higher CGPA than someone who has a balanced 60-something, 70-something, 70-something. If the intention of the university was to keep up with the standard, then I would like to say here that people who go forward to do foundation are those who couldn't pass through UTME and post-UTME.
But the question, because you're raising a question in my head. Are you trying to tell me that Unilag is putting money before their standards, or because it's a very strong allegation.
While the parents had a meeting with the director of student affairs, the director of student affairs said they have a quota which they want to enforce this year. And the parents asked the question that our students, even in these departments, are not up to the quota you are mentioning. Then they mentioned, these parents now said, is it because of the diploma program? And DSC refused to comment on that. They said, please, let's not talk about the diploma program.
Let me take this call from Funke from Magodo. Funke, are you there? Good morning. Good morning. Please go ahead.
This is Funke from Magodo. I would like to correct this, the lady in blue, because I noticed she was talking earlier and probably trying to put justification for what if it's a job application and they've given you a slated amount you earn during the month, and before the end of the month somebody now comes, or even after you've met with all your job requirements and all that, they will slash your salary. Will you have accepted it?
Nope.
If you get into admission and they say...
Thank you so much, Funke. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but it's important for me to note that we actually called Unilag authorities, tried to get them on the show. They said they were not willing to talk about it right now. So we've been trying to even call somebody to even call into the show. Still no attention, but we'll still try to see if we can get it. I know the case is in court, so it's a bit sensitive, and that's why they probably don't want to talk about it, but at least it was key for us to even get your own perspective. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more of your calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's talk to our social media. Yes, Jumoke.
Tauri's Rules says, I think it's a thing of misinformation on the part of the school authority. Why wasn't there enough pre-information to the students earlier on? Ibrahim Lawal says, yes, Unilag puts money before standard. I'll really appreciate if ICPC can investigate the institution.
Pause. I have a call from Unilag. Judith, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Yay, welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to contribute on the issue.
Go ahead.
Because I'm an affected student also on the crossover issue to Ijarawa. Okay, I want to call on the federal government to look into this critically, because after passing and meeting the criteria expected of us from the school to cross over to Ijarawa, they are telling us stories. They want to change the rules of the game after the game have not started. So we want the school and the federal government to look into this very well and correct the issue so that we can become what we want to become. Because you cannot change someone's future from being a medical doctor to study zoology or botany. It was the school that told our parents never to choose course for their children to study. And the school is now the one turning their back to choose courses for us. Okay. So we want them to look into this.
Thank you very much, Judith. Let's continue the tweet.
Tel says, Unilag should have given them alternatives prior to the students' commencement. Unilag didn't do their statistics well. Ibrahim Lawal says, Unilag is the most fraudulent and corrupt university in Lagos. I disagree. I wrote their post-UTME, got switched from economics to education admin, and still wasn't admitted. And last one, Gabriel says, students shouldn't be allowed to take courses they can pursue with passion, otherwise they become misfit graduates.
Father Unsi says, no university has any right to reshuffle any students to other departments if he or she met the required parameters.
Okay, let me take Ziza's call and I'll come to Uwa. Ziza from Jos, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, please. Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You people are doing a lovely job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking certain questions. Why would you start a program based on a contract, agree on terms, and change them in the middle of the procession or the middle of the session? That is wrong. 1. 2, how many of those people who are insisting on 4.0 GP made 4.0 GP before they became medical doctors?
Yay.
When you're talking about you want people to perform excellently because you want to raise up points, you should be able to be a person of your word. The problem with the country is that those people who are insisting on 4.0 even went to school on scholarship. They didn't pay money, and they are asking some people to pay $500,000 because they intend to keep rolling their pockets. It's not fair. If a person has a role, he is determined to go through it with a court, and he gave me a law. The young man said, he said there's a particular sect of them who didn't even make the stipulated cutoff point, which is of the law, which is stipulated in the book. These people should not be allowed in, but those who made it stick to status quo.
All right.
It is not
Thank you very much.
As Nigerians, for us who are trying to give a picture to the world, we are changing academic. This is corruption in academic section. This is high level of corruption.
Thank you very much, Caesar. Appreciate
Now,
it.
that brings my point. You see, for me, it's not about, I don't believe in bickering over things that I don't have control over. As a parent, it questions even the certification that my child will get from that kind of a school. If they would put money in front of, the academic performance and the merits of these children, it tells me that I need to be careful the kind of school I'm even putting my children. A lot of parents go to schools based on names. Oh, I'm going to Unilag, I'm going to this. I know the standard that we had in our universities. There were people that if your grade point average was not above 4 points, you couldn't even survive in medical school. So my points generally, because people are misconstruing the point, you as a medical student, if you want to compete with the world, medicine has gone beyond where it is now. You need to put a target to yourself and say that, because I don't think if you had made the cutoff of what's it called, of 4.0, and they cannot try it. How many people made that cutoff and they've not been admitted? Do you have that statistics?
It was actually 4.1.
I'm saying whatever it is, 4.1, 4.0. How many people have that statistics and they were not admitted?
You probably wouldn't have that figure.
No, because that is what we should.
I'll come to you. I'll come to Mr. Elio too. But let me take this call from Belinda from Abuja. Are you there, Belinda?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, I'm very disappointed that we are talking that way. I watched your program and I like the way you used to talk, but this morning I'm very disappointed. These are our children. These are children leaders of tomorrow, even of today. If they have a passion for a particular person and they have met the required conditions, Unilag said 2.5, and most of the students, they are Greek students, scored above 2.5. Why should you now stop them from doing the course they want to study? You now decided to push some of them to do Yoruba, decided to put some of them to do fishery, decided to push them to do courses that they do not have passion for. For God's sake.
Unilag is not here to defend. Okay, wait. Unilag is not here to defend themselves. But honestly speaking, in my heart of heart, I don't believe that this kind of a change would have been made without any form of communication.
May I address you to say that? No, but may I address Uwa to say that? You're saying personally, if you scored over 4.0, what if I scored 4.5 and the average student had 4.6, 4.7 and Unilag then decided to make it 5.0?
Yes.
This is not the point. It's the same point. You're not as far as I pass the stipulated cutoff. I don't come and change my results.
I don't dispute that. Yes. You made a very valid point that diploma students are being prioritized than them. Yeah. I am making a point that how many people, if you say, because it's a strong allegation, you say they have put diploma, let me finish. You say they have put diploma ahead of you guys. Yes. I am saying that, do you have the statistics of the people that made the same cutoff that they said they should make, and they were not admitted?
So if we get somebody from Unilag to tell us, we'll find, hopefully, but
there's a tweet. Benu Sola says, Unilag admitted foundation students with AAA in their final results. It is wrong to say that they were admitted on money paid. Is that
let me come to our parents. I'd like you to say a few words because we have to close very soon. I don't want to use your guess. Everything you've heard so far.
What happened is this. Unilag wants to generate reasonable income to run the school. That is because of this system the country is operating in. You must have IGR. We agree with IGR. But the issue is we should not sacrifice the future of Nigerians for IGR. One. Two, how many doctors do we have in this country? According to statistics, for Nigeria to meet up with the minimum standard of World Health Organization, it will take us 100 years if we produce the number of doctors we are producing per year, given the fact that nobody migrates. That's one. Two, you were talking earlier on during your press review of diverse diseases all over the place. Is it not human beings that are going to cure those diseases? Now, why should we stop those children who want to study medicine and other paramedical courses from doing so? Other students other children of their age are doing all manner of things. But these ones want to go to school. They should be encouraged. That is one. And if they have made the minimum standard, they should be allowed to proceed to the next level. That is the issue. Not to say because you want to make room. Okay, let me put it bluntly. The mistake, what we have here is the house girl has become the madam. That's what we have.
Okay, let me let our gentleman have the last word.
We medical students are very proud of one thing. That is the standard with which we keep up with our education. Immediately we were in year one, University of Lagos medical students are the only ones who have a standard to progress to year two. I think others, it's not as serious as that. So there is a target, there is a way we even structure our reading to make sure that there is a balance. We run about 14 courses with practicals over a stretch of 2 semesters. The diploma students, which we are not against, the diploma students have, at the end of the write an exam that it's just about 3 courses. So that's why the person was talking about triple A's. We run about 14 courses and all. We have no issue with diploma because it's an avenue for as many that don't pass through UTME and post-UTME to come in.
Admission.
But whatever happens in the diploma should not displace the qualified UTME candidate who met all your stipulated requirements. And the major reason why those requirements were put up was because even on the day of the orientation, we asked the question that if all of us meet up with this requirement, what will happen? And they said this requirement is just to keep your standard and to keep the flags flying, that you all will progress.
All right.
And that was it.
That's all we can take on the show. Thank you. But there's a lot to talk about because, as I said, we didn't hear Unilag's side of the story. They were supposed to be here, but they refused to say they don't want to discuss it, especially because the case is still in court. But no problem. We'll monitor it, and hopefully we'll get a verdict very soon on how the case would go. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow, Thursday, right? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Have a lovely day. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
It's because you have petrol.